As of today, Washington's first ever income tax is now officially law. This morning, Governor Bob Ferguson signed Senate Bill 6346, the so-called Millionaire's tax.
We've already seen Starbucks start moving to Tennessee. Microsoft has closed some of their Seattle offices. Amazon has shut down expansion in Washington. So it's very concerning for my business perspective.
And rich Washingtonians are already on the move. Founder of Starbucks, Howard Schultz, moving out of Seattle and headed down to Miami.
Congressman Michael Baumgartner also raises concerns, saying the tax could hurt the state's long-term economic growth.
Some of the largest job creators in the state are going to leave the state because they don't want to pay the tax. And then there's going to be a lack of economic opportunity in the future.
An analysis by the Tax Foundation found that 97% of the tax revenues would be raised from just four people: Jeff Bezos, his ex-wife Mackenzie Scott, Bill Gates, and Steve Ballmer, all of whom live in Washington state. Critics point out that if Bezos left, which is now highly possible, along with his $197 billion in wealth, revenues from this tax would fall by more than a third.
Luxury home listings jumped 65% the day after the income tax passed.
That is the exact amount Washington state was entitled to collect from Bezos under its 7% capital gains tax on his planned Amazon stock sales. $591 million that would have funded schools, infrastructure, and public services across Washington state. Washington collected zero of it because Bezos moved first. In April of 2026, she was at a public event and was asked whether Washington should be worried about millionaires and wealthy residents leaving the state over its tax policies. Her response was not a policy defense. It was not a revenue analysis. She laughed. And then she said, quote, "I think the claims that millionaires are going to leave our state are like super overblown."
We've got another Seattle or Bellevue or Washington State billionaire that is saying, "Sayonara, Washington State." And what state is he going to? Florida. Isn't that where they're all going to? Let's get into it. Somebody you're probably not familiar with, somebody you probably haven't heard, one of their video games. Who are we talking about? We are talking about Gabe Newell. Worked for Microsoft. He has a company in Bellevue, Washington. They're in Lincoln Tower, which is across the street from Bellevue Square, just downtown Bellevue, a few miles from where I'm sitting. Bellevue is an easy place to do business. But what I've been talking about lately is, with the pending umbrella of what's going on tax-wise in Washington State, the millionaire tax, even if that gets, the constituents vote that bad boy down, and I think that will happen, something is coming. Some form of tax the wealthy is coming to Washington State. Bellevue being located in Washington, you've got wealthy people just leaving. Ooh. And like Katie Wilson said, I think the millionaires all moving out of Seattle are overblown. And to those that do, bye. She's literally saying goodbye. This guy isn't from Seattle, he's from Bellevue, different drill, but, same state, and the end result is the same. It's going to be hundreds of millions of dollars of taxpayers' money just making a beeline for Florida. Let's read about this one. Loss of another Seattle area billionaire, Valve's Gabe Newell is reported buyer of Florida estate. If you want to watch this video right here, it's a great promotional video back from when the house was on the market. I think the people selling it to Gabe bought it for $38 million back in 2020. So not that long ago. So it has literally almost doubled, because now he's paying $70.8 million for a home. And this guy's a multi-billionaire. He's got like 7 massive yachts. I've seen one of his yachts in Seattle, and it's like the space Leviathan. Video game industry leader Gabe Newell getting ready to vacate the Seattle area for sunny South Florida, like some of his billionaire contemporaries. Now, he may not be running this company day to day. He's on his boat 7 days a week, working. He's doing his thing, right? Those guys can work anywhere they want. He still sounds like very active. Reports of a luxury property purchase raised the question. The real question would be, why wouldn't he move to Florida? Why wouldn't he move there? People are moving away from Washington State. Bellevue is a great place to live. I mean, it's an epic, epic place to live. But with what's coming, it's also extremely expensive. It's not a place where you want to retire. I mean, if you could and do it cheaply, yeah. Or if you're just so loaded with money, and that's about who's going to be left living in Bellevue, Washington, is people with just so much money. They don't care that, gas is still $6.25 a gallon. Meanwhile, people in Texas and Oklahoma are paying with, a 3 in front of it. Incredible. According to the Wall Street Journal, Newell, CEO and co-founder of Valve Corporation, that's the parent company, is the part of a $70.8 million waterfront estate in Monopolin, Florida. I had not heard of that community, but all right, Miami. Newspaper this week cited people familiar with the transaction. Sellers Cindy and Ron McMacken paid $39 million for the 2-acre property in 20 and listed it for $85 million in December. So it's on the market for 7 months, and they get $70.8 million. So he got a deal. He got a steal. Did they drop the price? Hey, I'm going to offer you $15 million less. I mean, considering they paid, 39 in just 6 years ago, did they renovate it? Did they paint it? Who knows? Right, half the thing down and just built it. Didn't sound like they have though. Couple founders of a mechanical subcontracting company, Pan Pacific Mechanical, they declined to comment on the buyer's identity. They're not going to say shit. Oh yeah, it's Gabe Newell, and he's just doing his own thing. He's leaving Bellevue and going to Florida. Comes the word on all that stuff, right? Let people disclose when you've got, their names on the recording. That's how a lot of people find out. The estate is featured in a 2020 YouTube video. That's what we're looking at from Premier Estate Properties. It's like 3 minutes long. It's a rock star house. Let's be honest. It is a rock star home. It's a cool house. But you know what? Kind of one of those things where, hey, Sean, you want to watch a real estate video? No. Because you've seen one, you've seen them all. They all have a fountain. They have a roof. They have wind inside. They have walls that make up room. And within these walls, you've got how fancy do you want it to get? And I've seen my share of fancy homes, and I just don't care. Would I take one if somebody gave it to me? I wouldn't take a 20,000 square foot home. I mean, just thinking about maintaining that was just no. A massive crew. Even then, who am I going to have come over? All my family? Oh, that sounds tricky, doesn't it? Hey, whole family, come over. It's going to be great. Their house, because they can clean up, right? Yeah. But I've got a video, that 3-minute video at the top of the video if you want to check that out. I mean, it's a cool house, guaranteed. It's a cool house. Its features is a tunnel that connects the house with the ocean. I mean, if you're a billionaire, you got like 7 big yachts, super yachts, going to need to be on the ocean. Has a roughly 20,000 square foot residence, and this is for one guy. I mean, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? Living in a museum, if that's your thing, if you want to have an enormous crew of people around you at all times to keep track of your 20,000 square foot residence, your outdoor pool, your dock, your boat lift, a lot of work, a lot of just coordinating. Hey, lift on the boat lift is toast. We need somebody to get out there and check those hydraulics. It's work no matter what. He's probably got a personal manager, billionaires. And even then, you got to convey, hey, got to go do that. Things don't just always take care of themselves. Newell, 63, has led Bellevue, Washington-based Valve since co-founding the video game company in 96, along with Microsoft colleague Mike Herring. I have heard of this company, but I don't play a lot of video games. I never really have. I played one of the games, and we'll get to it. But I'm just not like a big. I played Asteroids back in the day. I played Galaga, played Galaxian, a little bit of Pac-Man, Donkey Kong. Oh yeah, but basic joystick games. The games now, you got to have a headset, you got to have a microphone, you got to have a 14 multi-directional control. No can do. I don't have the coordination. All right, I got to press up, and then hit the down button, and then I pick up the gun, and then I reload. You know what I mean? Newell spent 13 years at Microsoft and is credited with helping build the first 3 versions of Windows before he left. Now he's a billionaire, right? Those stock options. Value is known for creating the PC game platform Steam, and its game franchises include Half and Portal, among others. Half-Life, I played a fair amount of Half-Life. It's cool. It's a first-person shooter game. It's set in a lab, science lab. It's this real heavy industrial, and you run and shoot monsters and creatures and stuff. Right? It's out in the desert in New Mexico. It's a research facility, I think. So Half-Life, that's a cool game. Fun game to play. You just run around and shoot stuff, Just, who doesn't want to do that in their life? The net worth of $11 billion, Newell is now 293 in the Forbes list of richest people in the world. He needs to have a primary residence, doesn't he? So it doesn't get tagged by Washington State's terrible, terrible, terrible policies. Because they're going after the wealthy. They're going after progressive revenue, which is just taxing the rich and taxing big business and taxing any business that makes money. Oh, yeah, let's tax them. They're going to stand any of those millionaires. Bye. Literally. Bye. Okay, we'll see how that works out. It's not going to age well there, Katie Will. A move to Miami would put Newell in the same company as Amazon founder Jeff Bezos. So we had Jeff Bezos also recently announced on LinkedIn a Miami move. And last month, critical op-ed written by Howard Schultz, blasting Seattle's anti-business climate and Mayor Katie Wilson. Well, you can't really blame him because Katie Wilson, she said, don't buy from Starbucks. And she basically turned back around later and said, yeah, I had a blueberry muffin latte. And it was delicious. So we're no longer boycotting. We're not doing that. And then she also said, Starbucks is great. We love Starbucks. Starbucks contributes millions of dollars towards our causes. We have all along. But they had a little labor difficulty, meaning Starbucks was closing down 4 out of 5 stores that have recently gone through the union. We all know what happens when you go union. You can also have minimum wage go to 0 because you close that store out. And that's what happened. Seattle entrepreneur Rich Burton is a co-founder of Zillow Group and Expedia. He went to Vegas and he said, well, it's all about my family. It's all about my family. Well, he doesn't have a family that I could find anywhere. Maybe he's divorced. Who knows? Oh, maybe he's like Paul Allen. He just wants to keep his life simple. Stuff, divorce, and that stuff. All those relocations come amid an increasingly heated debate over taxes in Washington State, where lawmakers have expanded taxes on wealthy residents, while some business leaders warn policies could drive entrepreneurs elsewhere. This is not rocket science, folks. This isn't even gaming technology. It's not even the first 3 versions of Windows. It's basic. Oh, let's see. I'm a billionaire. If I stay in Washington State, they're going to absolutely tax me to the moon. If I go to Florida, where all the other guys went, all the other billionaires went, that's where we do. Oh, I got 14 billion minus 70 million. Yeah, let's do that. All right, let's take it. I'll take it. Thank you. Do I get that? Is that included? I want a big one. He doesn't care. He could give a crap. He just needs a location. And if you got to think big, you got to think anyway, you might as well think big, right? All those, even though Newell's move out of the region isn't confirmed, I mean, can you make the argument that he just randomly bought a house in Florida and he's a billionaire and he's got a location and his business is located in Bellevue? He's planning ahead. He's 63 years old. He's planning ahead. His accountant said, hey, you need to get the F out of Washington State. Otherwise, it's just going to cost you how much? A few $100 million or $1 billion. What was it? It was Jeff Bezos. It's going to cost him $1 billion to stay in Washington State from tax liability standpoint. So he left. So this guy's got a fleet of accountants, right? Reports that are about this big each quarter telling him what to do and not do. Wallace family is very well known, Bellevue community, for buying up a lot of just prime real estate, developing it. They're a long-term name in the Bellevue market, and Kevin has done a great job downtown Bellevue with his family. They've got some developments going on right now that are they're They're top notch. Wallace is already lamenting the loss of another Washington billionaire. In a post on LinkedIn, Wallace shared a chart tracking the state's billionaire flight log, listing the state's richest people and whether they are still resident. If they are currently, not for long, because that writing is on the wall. Writing Washington no longer welcoming to millionaires or billionaires. You're either one of those, you need to get in line, get your place set up down in Florida. Seems to be the trend, doesn't it? Assuming Newell changes his domicile, that's $15 billion. Is that, $15 billion in wealth headed for states with no income, capital gains. Not so much here, but right here. Remember when Tommy Boy said that? You got to remember the movie Tommy. Maybe you didn't watch Tommy Boy. Tommy Boy, Chris Farley was probably one of the most epic movies of all time because I had kids and we watched it about 123 times. It was great. But this is going to leave a mark, meaning this kind of move out of Washington State, out of Bellevue, not like he spends a lot of time, but his business is in Bellevue, but away from Washington State in general, being able to call, all right, here is my primary residence. This is what I'm doing. And then he basically say, taxes? Yeah, not so much. I don't think so. No, don't want to pay Washington State taxes. But you know what's so crazy is leadership here in Washington State. They don't seem to be too concerned that the millionaires are leaving and the billionaires are leaving. They don't seem that outwardly concerned. Because you know why? They're not. They know. They're just going to turn up the heat on whoever's left at the end of the day and tax the absolute bejesus out of those people. One of my neighbors who said, I think the millionaire tax is a good idea. Wealthy people don't pay their fair share. Here's our guy leaving. Is he going to be paying his fair share? No, he's gone. They're mobile, right? Especially a billionaire. Billionaire like this dude? Yeah. Can't really blame him. What you can do is you can blame the politicians who come up with this numbnut stuff. Because we don't have a problem generating income here in Washington State. We just got a massive, massive overspending problem. And that's why they need all of, we're going to get to a point, the governor is, going to say, hey, to all those billionaires that have moved from Seattle and Bellevue to Florida, we'd like you to come back and pay your fair share in taxes so that we can fund our generous social welfare programs, like Kathy Hochul just did. And that's only after a couple of years of real hard exodus. New Yorkers just going to Florida. I don't think these folks care because they know they're still going to get their pound of flesh, which is, at the end of the day, there's only so many billionaires and so many, really wealthy millionaires you can tax, and you got to go after. That's what this is all about. And then the people who are silly enough to go, millionaire tax, whatever it might be, that seems like a good idea because they need to pay their fair share. Just been completely brainwashed into idiocy. Because what's the reality? The reality is, if you got a residence address, if your residence is in Washington State and you're wealthy, not for long, somewhere else for 6 months so you can declare your residency and be legal about it, do that. Spend half your time here with the grandkids or whatever it might be. But yeah, another billionaire hitting the road. Now there might be some media out there. He's a guy who likes his yachts with research and he wants to be on the East Coast for the Atlantic. He can be wherever he wants to be all the time. Like, we had Zuckerberg's boat here in Lake Union. Massive boat, 397 feet. You know what I mean? Those guys just kind of come and go. They do whatever they want. But they don't want to pay a bunch of taxes if they don't have to. And this guy buying in Florida, there's absolutely no chance it's anything but capital flight. All right, Washington State politicians, you guys are doing an amazing job. You guys should set up a course on how to push residents out from your community. What's the fastest track you can come up with to put of your community? Because that'd be a bestseller, because that is going swimmingly here in Washington State. swimmingly. Billionaires, and there's going to be more to come. So make sure you hit that notification bell. I'll be covering each one as it comes up. And there's going to be a bunch. There's going to be a bunch.